With over 75 years under its belt, there's no doubt NASCAR has changed a lot from its early years. Because of the current schedule, rules, and culture of the sport, there are many records that would seem unbreakable at this point in time. So what I want to do is come up with ways these records could be broken. Some actually pretty realistic, and some that are quite the stretch. I also want to give a bit of a disclaimer before we start. The ideas in this video are mostly bad. Very bad, in fact. But that's what it would take to break these records. So let's take a look at 5 seemingly unbreakable NASCAR records, why they seem unbreakable, and what could be done to make them more achievable, starting with the worst idea and getting progressively better. In 1967, Richard Petty won 27 races in a single season, setting the all-time NASCAR record. But he also started 48 races that year. With just 36 races on the current calendar, and the level of competition much higher than it was nearly 60 years ago, nobody is getting close to 27 wins. The most in the modern era has been 13 wins, accomplished by Richard Petty in 1975 and Jeff Gordon in 1998. This century, the most has been 10 wins, by Jimmy Johnson in 2007 and Kyle Larson in 2021. We can still keep the 36 race schedule, but all we'd have to do is change the schedule to have 36 road courses to have a shot at it. With Shane Van Gisbergen's dominance on road courses, would it be that much of a stretch for him to win 3/4 of them throughout a season? He won 5 of the 6 road course races in 2025, and at that pace, over a 36 race season, he'd rack up 30 wins, above the 27 to beat the record. Do I want to see it? Absolutely not. Could the changes happen? It'd be an easy change to make, just put a new schedule together. But no way some of the popular ovals drop off the schedule, so I think we're safe for now. Richard Petty had a very long career, spanning 35 years, and ran many more races in his early years than they do now. He started nearly 300 more races than the next 2 guys on the list, Ricky Rudd and Terry Labonte, who ran races in 33 and 37 seasons respectively. They'd have needed another 8 or 9 full seasons to eclipse Petty's record. With the schedule at 36 races for each of the past 25 seasons, it doesn't look like that number will change anytime soon. That would mean someone would have to run every race for 33 years to break the record. Meaning, if a driver started at 18 years old, they'd have to race into their 50s to get there, which we just don't see for full-time drivers anymore. Over the past few years, we've seen both Formula One and MotoGP add Saturday sprint races to their calendars. While Formula One only has 6 per year as of now, MotoGP has one every race weekend. So while they don't count the same as Sunday's Grand Prix, they'll have 44 races this year. Why do I bring that up? If NASCAR were to adopt a similar system, they'd run 72 races per year. And if they do count the same as the Sunday races, the time it'd take to get to Petty's 1,185 starts would be cut in half to 16.5 years. Recently, sanctioning bodies have constantly mentioned the need to add more value for the fans during race weekends, and this has been their solution in some cases. Do I want to see it? No. Just focus on the Sunday race and give me proper build-up to that. Could the changes happen? With NASCAR removing a lot of the on-track time during a race weekend, there's definitely enough time to run it. I'm not sure the teams would agree to more races and putting their cars at risk though. Come on, it's a 14-lap gap between first and second place, and that's just ridiculous. It's been over 30 years since the last time second place was even 1 lap down. And with the rules that are currently in place, like stage racing giving predictable cautions, the lucky dog, and waiver rounds, and just the level of competition, it's not going to be broken anytime soon. A big crash or tire issues could cause it. If you look at the 2002 Aaron's 312 Busch Series race at Talladega that had that enormous crash early on, only 3 cars finished on the lead lap. 9th place was 10 laps down, and 13th place was 37 laps down. A bigger, more damaging crash could maybe do it. And with the softer tires we've seen recently, especially at Bristol, we could see some large gaps form depending on how the race plays out. However, both those are pretty random and not my true answer to this. Instead, I'd say an endurance race might have the best chance to beat this record. And if they run it at a short road course, or even an oval, which, how crazy would that be? And do, I don't know, 8 hours, 12 hours, or long enough for the cars to have some problems that would need a decent time for repairs. Run the cars as is, not do anything Hendrick did in their 24-hour run a few years ago. If the cars aren't meant to go 12 or more hours, they won't. Do I want to see it? Once again, not really, but I rank this higher than the others because it'd be only one race and not affect an entire season. Could the changes happen? Yeah, I guess it's possible. NASCAR has tried some other stuff we didn't think we'd be seeing, like dirt racing and street course racing. This one's not nearly as unbreakable as the others, and it's the most recent of the records set, occurring in 1992. But with drivers not racing as long as they used to, and also not being as competitive as they approach and surpass age 50, this would be a tough one to break in today's NASCAR culture. Of course, it'd just take a competitive old guy, right? They go back to full season points, Denny Hamlin doesn't retire in 2 years, keeps winning, and runs until 2033. But what about an existing old guy doing it with another idea? We all love the throwback weekend at Darlington, right? The nostalgic paint schemes and uniforms are great. But let's make that more authentic. What if, in order to participate in Throwback Weekend, you had to let the driver whose paint scheme you're using drive the car? If I'm seeing a bright orange number 20 rolling down the track, Tony Stewart should be driving. If there's a rainbow painted number 24, Jeff Gordon should be behind the wheel. Let's get those old guys out there and break this record. Do I want to see it? I mean, kind of, because nostalgia and all, but really, no, because they're not going to compare to your memories. Although, I could see Mark Martin not skipping a beat. Could the changes happen? No, there's no way anything like this would be implemented, even if it sounds fun. Since the record was set in 1987, NASCAR has had rules in place to slow the cars at superspeedways so they haven't gotten near that 212 mile per hour lap at Daytona or Talladega since then. They have qualified at over 206 miles per hour at Michigan after it was repaved, but with the horsepower limits they have now, aren't even close to that anymore. Let's just increase the horsepower and let them rip. Okay, it's not really that easy with the safety issue and all. But what if we have the All-Star Race or Clash at Daytona or Talladega, and we only let them qualify in a high horsepower configuration? And then for the race, put them back to normal. There are precedents for foregoing current rules at the All-Star Race. The pit road speed limit was removed for qualifying when cars had to make a 4-tire pit stop during their runs. And last year, ideas were floated about having a Race What You Brung All-Star Race, opening up the rulebook. Or, another idea would be to open them up for Daytona 500 qualifying. To be honest, it doesn't really have the prestige it used to, and letting those cars loose for qualifying could give it some extra excitement. Look at Indianapolis 500 qualifying, which is still viewed as prestigious. It has a boost added that they won't use in the race, adding between 5 and 10 miles per hour of speed. Do I want to see it? Yeah, I could see it being fun, and if the only time they run like that is for single car runs, the safety impact should be minimal. Could the changes happen? Who knows? Probably pretty unlikely though, as I doubt NASCAR would want their cars going that fast no matter the situation, and teams would claim it costs too much. If you made it through these dumb ideas and got this far, congrats. So I'll ask, what unbreakable record do you have a dumb, or even good idea that would allow it to be broken? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and check out the rest of my channel for more classic NASCAR content.